Daybreak Live, and I don't know how we can follow up our star students with these two guys, but we're going to try. Scott Masters, who's the executive director of the Chamber of the Parks and Rec here in Sylacauga, and Hunter Kane, who's the athletic director. They joined us this morning. Gentlemen, good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good to have you with us today. You were with us last week.
I was.
And we've added a championship since then.
We have. You know, we were in here last week talking about special events, and, you know, we're always in here pushing our events, and we love our events. But, you know, the heart and soul of Parks and Recreation are parks and recreation.
Yeah.
So Mr. Hunter Kane's here. Just ended a very busy time of year for him and had great success.
All right, talk about it, brother.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. We just wrapped up all of our fall sports. We had soccer, tackle football, flag football,
What a
volleyball.
heartbreaker last night in football.
Heartbreaker last night for both groups, our 10U and 12-year-old groups.
Oh.
Like, they've competed all year, had a long season. They ended up playing, I think, 9 to 10 games total. And
So you had a lot of participation?
yes, sir. We had about 30 to 35 kids on each team
Wow.
for both groups, and we had Comer and Fayetteville took the 12-year-old last night. Elliott City took the 10-year-old.
So you lose the game 8-6,
8 to 6.
and you had the ball inside the 5-yard line or so?
Inside the 5-yard line with 3 minutes left in the game to basically wrap it up right there, and we came up
couldn't
just
get
a
it in.
little short.
Oh man.
It was tough for the guys.
Yeah, I bet it was.
They played hard.
I
They
bet
did
it
for
was.
sure.
I bet it was
Every
an
one of them.
emotional time too.
It was.
Yeah.
The last game too.
Yeah. Well, what about the volleyball? I know we got some good news about volleyball.
Yes, sir. We actually we had district 2 weekends ago. We actually hosted district here in Sylacauga, and we had 5 teams come in.
Where do you host the tournament at the rec or where?
We hosted one at the rec, and we did the middle school at Nicholas Lawson. Nicholas Lawson let us use their gym facilities to help us accommodate for our volleyball tournament. And our 3rd and 4th graders won district. Our 7th and 8th grade team won district. Our 5th and 6th was our runners up. And then we went to state this weekend in Jacksonville, and our 3rd and 4th graders and 5th and 6th graders, they competed. They did really well, came up short. But our 7th and 8th graders won the state championship this year. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that's at least 3 years in a row for them girls, them sets of girls to
Wow.
win state championship.
That's fantastic, and that's good news for our schools volleyball
Absolutely.
teams as well, right?
100%.
That's not just Sylacauga, it's
Yeah.
Comer too,
Right.
and all the schools around here. It's going to help them very much,
Yeah.
very much
You know,
in the near future.
Scott, when you think about sports overall, you got a lot of kids that are playing sports, and you got a lot of parents and grandparents that are involved as well, and that's got to make you feel good to be able to reach out in the community.
Oh, it's amazing. You know, I was the athletic director for 12 years, and, you know, when you're in each one of these positions, you kind of feel like you're on an island. You know, you're out there at, say, baseball, and there's 375 kids playing, so 700 parents at least there, and you're standing here by yourself like, oh my goodness. And then, you know, when I got out of that bubble and realized, you know, wow, we got a lot to do in parks. We got Lake Howard, we got the senior building, we got special events now once we created that job, and it's awesome. You know, every day that you go out and, you know, you ride through town, I mean, you see what our park and rec department touches, and just makes you proud to be a part of it.
Yeah, Hunter, I guess keeping up with the parks overall, as far as the upkeep stuff, is a handful too.
Yes, sir. It can be for sure. It's definitely because what we offer. I mean, we're year-round sports,
Yeah.
so I mean, we're upkeeps, the traffic on fields, materials, you name it. But we have a good group of employees and stuff that help me and Steve at the rec. So we have a great employee staff at our department for sure.
I don't know why I was calling you Scott.
It's fine.
It must have been one of my star students. I get lost.
We're just gonna roll
You know,
with
my
it.
brother's Scott, so my entire life I've been Scott, so we're good.
Oh, hey, Steve, the overall year for the Parks and Rec's been fantastic.
It's been an amazing year. You know, my job's kind of to get the right people in the right spots and make sure they got what they need to do their job, and make sure we can keep the lights on and the bills are paid and all that. And I would put our team up against anybody in any position right now. We're fixing Miss Pam Pearson is fixing to retire with 20-something years, and
Yay for her.
congratulations. And we found a great fit for her that's going to come in and join us in December. And then upcoming, Sherry Vickers, who's ran our senior building since they built it, will be retiring this spring. So we'll be trying to fill that position. So, that's kind of my job is, behind the scenes like the Wizard of Oz and, make sure you got the right people in the right place and allow them to shine. And, so far everybody's done a great job.
Hunter, let's talk basketball.
November the 30th is our last day for registration. We've been open since the 1st of October, I believe, for registration, and we'll have tryouts December the 5th. You'll check our Facebook page to check out the times to make sure you're coming to the right age group, right time, at SylacaugaRecDesk.com. And our season right now, I'm looking to start around January the 4th. Maybe the week after, but right now I'm looking like January the 4th, first Tuesday in January.
People look at the registration, $75. Well, it takes a lot of money to operate our Parks and Rec.
Yes, sir. With referees, balls, nets, jersey costs these days.
Everything's skyrocketing, isn't it?
Everything, yes, sir. And I still feel like, as Sylacauga, our community, our prices, as far as registration, will compete with anybody in the state. I mean,
We're cheaper
honestly,
than everybody
my little
else.
girl, my daughter goes to Coleman, and their basketball registration was $140.
Wow.
So, I think
And
we're
probably
doing
don't
good.
play 10 games with high
And that
school
was one day,
refs in
that
a
was
school
one
gym.
day a week, and we
Yeah.
played Tuesday and Thursdays.
Now, the first night of registration was wild, wasn't it, for basketball?
Oh yeah, first.
always.
It is, and then November 30th will be extra.
Crazy, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, I forgot.
So we're excited. We're excited.
Oh, so how many kids do we have playing last year? You remember?
For basketball,
Yeah.
we had right at about 175, 200.
Wow.
And this fall sports, between all of our sports combined, we had about 500 kids.
That's amazing.
Now, of course, a couple kids play two different sports, but we had over 500 kids
That
participating
is
in sports.
amazing. And you think about the scheduling of it all, and kids in school, you got them get home and get in bed,
Busy
you
time
got to
of year.
study and all that kind of stuff. That's a handful.
Yes, sir. Especially with school starting up too, because we're basically starting our fall sports the same time school's starting up. So it's a lot on parents. It's a lot on kids, but our kids in this community they handle it and keep striding and go great with it.
Steve, being the executive director of the Parks and Rec here in Sylacauga, do you try to mirror any other organization, or is this just something we try to do, or what?
We've had great groundwork when we both started working at Parks and Rec. Sylacauga's history of Parks and Rec, from Miss Bates to Mr. Armstrong. And so we take that base and, we go to district meetings quarterly, and it's everybody from basically Phoenix City to Lincoln along 280. So you hear from Montgomery, Opelika, some of the bigger areas, Phoenix City. And in that meeting, at the end of it, you go around the table and you tell what's going on. So we're always over there taking notes like, we need to do that. We need to do that. And that's what that meeting's for. We have a real tight knit in our district, amongst all the Park and Rec people. And, you don't want to recreate the wheel when you can take something somebody else is doing and put your touch on it and bring it to your community.
Very quickly before we go, we've got a big event coming up this weekend too.
Yeah, this weekend, our Blues and Barbecue Festival. We've been talking about this for 3 to 4 years. Hunter and I have been wanting to do this thing forever, and we finally got that job position created and got Lauren in as our special events coordinator, and we got the ball rolling. It's this Saturday. Weather's going to be perfect. We got everything just the way we want it, so we're super excited.
Looks like
about
sunshine all day long on Saturday.
Absolutely.
Now, you guys were where this weekend, kind of looking at some other entities doing this kind of thing?
Well, I mean, Shannon and I have been to Franklin, Tennessee. We've been to the Jack Daniel's Distillery, which is the biggest barbecue competition outside of Memphis in May. We've been to Sloss Furnace, did one recently. I love barbecue, if you can't tell by looking at me, and we love, traveling around and seeing different events and how other towns do it, and, the ultimate goal is to bring that home.
No doubt about it. Let's do it. Right quickly, too, how can kids get in touch with all their parents for fall registration for basketball?
Sylacauga.recdesk.com. you can go on there, or you can check our Facebook page out, Sylacauga's Parks and Rec, Sylacauga Parks and Rec on Facebook.
And congratulations, Steve, to our state champions in volleyball.
Aren't they awesome?
They're
I'm
awesome.
telling you, that is fantastic.
And we also have our 12-year-old boys competing in state for soccer this weekend in Dothan.
We hadn't mentioned soccer, but that's another sport
Not
that's
much,
blooming.
but yes, sir. Our 12-year-old boys won district for soccer 2 weeks ago, and they're actually going to compete this weekend in state.
Soccer and volleyball are the two sports I just see exploding all across the
Huge.
country.
We had over 200 kids in soccer this year.
Good gracious.
And let me brag on Hunter before we go. I mean,
You can't take an hour to do this.
I
now.
know. But, you know, the last 3 weekends, we've had flag football playoffs, soccer playoffs, volleyball playoffs, and now he's headed to Dothan Friday night for soccer playoffs. And, you know, the man's hustling all over town, supporting our kids, so he's doing an incredible job.
I appreciate it.
Hey, that's why you make the big bucks, man. Steve Master, Executive Director of the Parks and Rec, and Hunter Kane, who is the Athletic Director, joined us this morning. Thank you both for coming, guys.
Yes, sir.
Thank
We
you.
got more Daybreak just ahead.